Well, I suppose if you mourn, that means you have the capacity to show empathy or sympathy, which is really the key.
I believe Jesus means when he says that people are mourning because they've lost the feeling of religion. They've lost the feeling of righteousness, and there's so many people that have lost souls, and you can't help all of them. But God's still here to help us.
I think sometimes in relation to mourning over injustice, mourning over wrongs that are undeserved, mourning over the fact that there's sin in the world, that so many bad things happen that we can't do anything about.
For the poor, definitely. When there's injustice, that means that people are poor when they don't need to be, then that's an injustice that needs to be mourned.
Well, I think it may be in connecting with those who are less fortunate. So he's saying blessed are those who can actually see beyond their own world and their own circumstances to those that may be less fortunate in a variety of ways, and stand with them. Because I think in the morning you become connected.
I see it as meaning like takes notice of the poor and really feels for the poor, and I'm not sure whether I really do that, but I think I'm sort of just maybe starting to.
I feel concerned for their well-being and the people around them and their families. Yeah.
I think it's a deep sense of compassion for those that have less or are unable to change their environment. They may be caught up in a poverty mentality. They may be caught up in a government that that is not standing with them, but is standing against them. So yeah, I mourn for that. It's a grief, a sadness.
Oh, it does tug on my heartstrings. Yeah, I do stop and think.
I'm nearly in tears sometimes. There was one image I can remember of this kid, and he was in the hospital, and they did a close-up of his wound, and I just burst out crying. I feel really sad when I see that sort of thing.
I think it's always a challenge to having lived overseas and in Asia, to see the links between my lifestyle and the effect and my country's history and the effect that that's had on other countries. And so there's that sense of wanting to mourn and seek justice in that.
But I think there's a lot of fear of people getting compassion fatigue, because in this day and age there seems to be a lot of that mentality marketed on TV, that people have lost interest even, and they kind of wipe over it. So I think that's definitely an issue.
Well, I think everyone, myself included, has got an interest in the desperately poor. I mean, you can't see the plight around the world today and not be moved by it in some way. Like most people, my wife and I and our family make small contributions to, registered charities on a regular basis. We try to do what we can.
Probably being in the same situation, to be honest. Like, at the moment, I'm feeling the old, feeling the burn, and probably understand a bit better than what I would if I had a bit more money.
I need the time. I'm always rushing, and so I want to be charitable. Money's always an issue if that's what you're talking about, but it's mainly time. If I'm rushing to do things, then I forget about those that are in need. So it's true.
To realise that our neighbours are closer than we think, and that we can't just decide that we're an island, and therefore we're lucky. We are. We're really fortunate, but there's a lot of world that has a lot of needs. Also in Australia as well. I think if we just look at various people who have needs even within Australia, some people will never look further than the shores of Australia, but even if they just look further than their own backyard and their own needs, and realise that the more you give, the more you're helped, which is what Jesus says. You're blessed if you give, so it's very true.
We give donations, to the church and also other places.
There's definitely a call to action that kind of needs to happen. Be that with your own abilities, your own resources.
Probably finding places who are working with the poor that I could sort of need volunteers that I could volunteer with, like finding out more about what's being done in Brisbane where I live, and finding organisations that work with poor people and seeing where my skills fit in and volunteering to help them.